Hi there, and welcome to this Astranti Theory Revision video. I'm Molly, one of the tutors here at Astranti, and I'm just going to be giving you a quick introduction to our topic today, which, as you can see on screen, is management. Now, management is a very broad topic that will be useful in many areas of your CIMA studies, but in particular today, we're going to be looking at one specific model to do with management, and this is going to be really helpful specifically for your E2 and MCS exams. So, without further ado, I'm going to pass you over to our expert on the subject, Anthony. Take it away.
Well, basically, management in an organization, is the coordination of people's efforts to accomplish goals and objectives efficiently and effectively using available resources. Now, managers tend to be reactive, and that means that they deal with problems when they arise, or managers only plan ahead for the short term. Okay, and that's an important distinction we're going to compare against leaders later on. And we're going to come to our first theory now. And this theory was written by Henri Fayol, and he proposed 5 management functions of management. And the first of those functions is planning and forecasting. Now, the planning function involves the process of defining goals, then establishing strategies to achieve those goals, forecast results, and develop plans to integrate and coordinate activities. So that's the first of Henri Fayol's 5 management functions. Now we're going to bring Joe in for the first time. So we know that Joe is a manager of a doll making company. Now Joe's going to have to plan the overriding strategy of the factory and set clear goals and objectives for items such as the revenues, the profits, the production qualities, the production efficiency, and any new products that the factory plans to launch. Joe's also going to have to make sure that staff understand what their roles are and set a suitable structure for the organization, and make sure that there are procedures that staff can follow and procedures for the running and management of the factory. So that's the first of Fayol's management functions, and that's how it would apply to Joe. All the planning, establishing the strategies, forecasting results, and how all activities are coordinated. That's how Joe would do it. Okay, let's scroll down to the second of Fayol's management functions now, and that is organizing. And here, Fayol says that managers are also responsible for arranging work to accomplish the organization's goal. So this would involve breaking down the plan from the first stage that we just looked at in planning and forecasting, where the management set a plan, into detailed low-level tasks to be undertaken, and then allocate those different tasks to the relevant individuals in the organization. So let's bring Joe back here. So Joe is going to define a clear process for manufacture, then select staff and train them in that process, and create staff schedules for manning the various production lines. Okay, the third stage now is commanding. So in our first 2 stages, the tasks have been set out and organized. Now staff need to be told what those tasks are and when they have to do them. And this is commanding. Now, I don't know about you, but the word commanding seems a little severe. And I've got a different C word up on screen now, communicating. And in modern organizations, communicating has replaced commanding, because communicating gives much more of an impression of a two-way conversation rather than being told what to do. And the term commanding may seem outdated, and that's because Fayol's theory was originally written in 1919, and of course language and management techniques have changed since then. So let's apply this to Joe. Well, Joe's going to have to explain the task to his staff to make sure they know what they are doing and how they're going to do it, and he's also got to let them know the production shifts to make sure that his factory is staffed at the times he wants it to be staffed. And you can see in the scenario there, I use the word explain rather than commanding, because of course explaining has that connotation of communication as well, rather than just being told what they have to do. Okay, let's move on to the fourth stage now, which is coordinating. And this is when all the activities of the staff need to be coordinated to make sure that everyone is working really well together and they are working together to achieve the same objectives. Now, coordination is particularly relevant in team working because, of course, when you're working in teams, you are trying to achieve the same goal as everyone else in that team. So how does this apply to Joe? Well, Joe's production foreman and his team of operators will coordinate their work to make dolls of a high standard, because in the first stage, Joe said, I want to make high quality dolls and deliver them to shops on time. Coordination is also relevant when different teams in Joe's company work together. For example, there may be a link between the manufacturing staff and the dispatch staff at the factory, and their work is going to need to be coordinated to make sure they have the best service for their retail customers. And our final stage is controlling. Now, this is the management function that involves monitoring actual performance, comparing actual to standard, and taking action if necessary. So what do we mean by that? Well, let's use Joe as an example. So Joe's going to have to review the performance of his staff to make sure they are doing what he has told them to do, what he wants them to do, what he has planned for them to do in the previous stages. If they are not doing what they're supposed to be doing in a way that is consistent with the plan and the strategy for the company, then it's likely the company is not going to hit its objectives. Now, on the production line, this may mean that Joe has to ensure that each product is checked efficiently and effectively with consistent quality. Staff are also going to need to be supervised to make sure that they are following standard procedures and working effectively. So there we go. That is controlling, and that is Henri, probably, as he's French, that's how the name's going to be pronounced, Henri Fayol's 5 management functions.
Thanks very much for that, Anthony, and thank you for watching this video today. Though, don't go anywhere just yet, I have a little bit more to talk about with you. So, you can see now we've zoomed out from our management model, there's a lot of space around it, and in fact that's because if I carry on through the presentation there's even more to look at. So this is the start of another model, but that's a model for another day. My main point is this is just one small section of our E2 and MCS theory revision tuition video, which accompanies our comprehensive study text that include all the essential information you need to pass your exams. These are just a few of the products Astranti offer alongside hundreds of practice test questions that will help you prepare for exam day, revision notes that condense everything you'll need to know into a more digestible piece of text, and support, of course, from our wonderful Astranti tutors. If any of this sounds like something you'd like to learn more about, you can go onto our website, which is www.astranti.com, and you'll also find, if you end up there are a few free samples that you can access in order to give some of these products a try. And before I go, I would like to ask, if you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to Astranti's YouTube channel if you'd like to see more theory revision and general tips on passing your exams. Good luck with your studies.